And this slide shows the evolution of the Chinese legal system. Now, from the left side, starting actually, everybody know about the Cultural Revolution. In that time, basically, China has no law, or all the evolution of the law stopped during that 10 years of time. So in 1979, Deng Xiaoping, he started this or initiated the open market policy. Since then, all the law school, Ministry of Justice, and the law professional or legal services, resurrected, from the 80s, early 80s. And another milestone, of course, is in the year 2001, after China and joined this WTO. So the key points of this slide is a legal system is rapidly developing to support the economic growth. This also reflects or present an opportunity for Westlaw China or the needs, because in China everybody knows the economic developments now over here. Okay, of course there's another long way to go, but the legal infrastructure is still here. So they're still in stage to the minimal required standard of the world. Okay, this chart actually gives you a very simplified idea about the legislation. On the top is the so-called the National People's Congress. It's the highest body, to make the law. Under the NPC, actually there are two systems. One is the judicial system. One is legislation system. And the State Council, they are serving as a bridge to the local government here in the middle to give the law to National People's Congress for approval. Okay, this is the formality. Okay, actually, things going is not as simple as this, in terms of how do they elect the member of the Congress people, or both in the central level or the local level. And State Council also is the head of the ministries. So a lot of ministerial regulations like telecommunication, labor law, intellectual properties right, those special laws are under their responsibility. In this part, I will go into a little bit more detail about the layer of their judicial systems. And the next, we're talking about the lawmaking. As we indicated in the previous chart, the National People's Congress, they are doing the central level of legislations. Okay, those will include many like civil procedures, and of course all this will be under the Constitution of China. And State Council serve as a bridge, to do this local legislation, and also these are the characteristics of the laws they are making. I'll give you an sample. And this part, at the right-hand corner, actually in China, they already started the public hearing in order to make law, especially in the environmental sectors. So this actually initiated from Guangdong province, which is one of the most liberal province in China because it's so far away from the capital city, Beijing. And if there's any local law, against the central level of law, the National People's Congress, they have the right to withdraw the law. And this one is a judicial system. The highest system actually is the Supreme People's Courts. It's not like a federal and the state laws. Actually, they have all the administrative authority to manage or to control the local courts. In the local level, when I write the 31 here, it means provincial. In China, they are totally including the major cities, Beijing, Shanghai, Chongqing. They're directly reporting to the central. In the 23 provinces plus 5 so-called the autonomy area or province, their level are the same. Like Tibet, like Mongolia. Okay, there are 5 of them. So in total, there are 31. So for example, all the death penalty have to be escalated to the High People's Court to review in order not to misjudge or that. This is in your right-hand side is the special courts. Those are special courts. There's no physical setup there. They were started doing this on unnecessary basis. It's a people's military court, maritime court, and the railroad transportation courts. So this is the Chinese court system.
Apple is investigating allegations of workforce abuse at one of its new plants, where contracted manufacturers are thought to be assembling a low-budget version of the iPhone. A report by local watchdog China Labor Group indicates Florida-based Jabil Circuit has committed multiple violations of local labor law at its factory in Wuxi, China. Workers allegedly received rushed, superficial training, work 11.5 hours at their assembly lines every day, and typically work mandatory, sometimes unpaid overtime that can be in excess of 100 hours a month. The Guardian reports in certain cases, female workers were asked to take pregnancy tests, which would be both against Chinese law and a breach of the code of practice imposed last year by Apple on all its suppliers. Apple instituted its supplier code of conduct in 2005 and has improved and refined its monitoring in recent years in response to labor issues at Foxconn and Pegatron factories, which ranged from underage employees to suicides. But the Next Web points out, despite Apple's strides to improve its accountability, it and China Labor Watch still aren't seeing eye to eye. In March, Apple claimed a new high of 99% compliance with China's maximum 60-hour work week throughout its supply chain, although that's a fact that has been disputed by CLW, which states that 60 hours is a direct violation of China's 49-hour statutory limit. Apple acknowledged the report in a statement to All Things D, saying it takes its supplier concerns seriously. Our team of experts is on site at Jabil Wuxi to look into the new claims about conditions there. Jabil issued a similar statement, and it too says it will send a team of investigators to its Wuxi plant.
Hey guys, I'm Karen Cheng and you're watching The Run List. Do you own an iPhone? What about an iPad? Well, a labor rights group said today that those products may have been produced in Chinese factories under pretty shoddy conditions. New York-based China Labor Watch has accused a Taiwanese-owned supplier for Apple of mistreating its workers, doing things like hiring underage workers, forcing employees to work unpaid overtime, and in hazardous working conditions. The company is called Pegatron Core, and they assemble iPads and iPhones at factories in Shanghai and Suzhou. So far, Pegatron is denying these allegations, but has promised to carry out an investigation and correct any violations of Chinese labor laws. Apple is no stranger to these worker abuse accusations. One of its biggest suppliers, Foxconn, was involved in several scandals in recent years, including a spate of worker suicides at its plants in China. Since then, Apple has tried to improve its image by doing their own audits of suppliers to ensure workers are being treated fairly. China Labor Watch says it's carried out undercover investigations between March and July this year and had interviewed almost 200 Pegatron employees. It says the company has broken labor laws by withholding pay, and employees on average work 66 to 69 hours per week, despite Chinese laws mandating a 49-hour maximum. The organization says this latest report is part of efforts to see whether labor abuse in supplies for Apple is isolated or whether it's something much more common, and they believe the problem exists exists across many of Apple's suppliers. Companies that China Labor Watch investigated include Jabil, based in the US, several Chinese companies like United Wind, Riton, and Tenlong, as well as Malaysia-based Kansasha. So what's the lesson here? China has been a very attractive place for global corporations to set up shop because labor is cheap and they can get away with much more in terms of environmental pollution and labor violations. But the question I have is, who is responsible for monitoring these kinds of things? The companies definitely are partly to blame, but isn't it also the government's role to supervise these companies? If labor laws are properly enforced and companies know that there will be legal consequences if they don't play by the rules, perhaps we wouldn't have to wait for whistleblowers to expose these types of mistreatments.
我是89年出生，今年23岁，周岁。就2007年2月25号进到富士康。我最开始的时候在观澜富士康。当初我们参加了半个月的培训，1天1块钱的工资，半个月就15块钱，好惨！我那时候，给我就5块钱对我来说就非常非常奢侈。老大把我安排到一个流水线里面，他说那是对我们一个培训，其实就是我们那时候还没有签合同嘛，就相当于那些学生工一样，然后每个月。没有1个月的时间，半个月发了15块钱。富士康的模具单位最出名的就是红超准了。一说红超准，大家都知道是做模具的。然后我们在里面做的模具，通常都会要经过化学品，还有药水，当然这些都会有粉尘啊，会有那个沙子，会有钻石砂。研磨是做研磨的，然后会通过还有棉花会通过鼻孔啊、嘴唇啊进入到里面，进入到肺部。然后我们很多人体检的都会有一点点异常。药水，我们模具药水接触的话，会对女生有那个不孕不育影响的。它有标示出来吗？有标示的，但是我们的防护措施做得非常不好。是一次性的口罩，就是1天戴1次就要扔掉的那种，所以就给我们主管就说要改善一下我们的口罩，去购买那种活性炭的，但是他说，有在购买啦，他说你不用担心有什么尘肺病，就是大家在路上的时候接触的那种路上的沙尘都没有问题，他拿那个路上的灰尘和那个工业粉尘做比较，所以我就拿了一个册子。关于工伤病那个尘肺病的一个小册子给他看，他看了以后，他说你从哪里弄过来的这个东西，然后就开始翻我的抽屉，然后我们的劳保鞋也都是有点烂，就是它是那种胶的嘛，通过药水它慢慢的也会腐蚀掉的，但是也没有看到更换过啊。然后他一般会指责我们，你们不好好穿啊干嘛的，他不会觉着是到该买的时候了，他不会这样子觉着。可能也是一个降低成本吧。当然他们对我们来说就是说，你放心了，现在已经在购买了，但是实际上就没有行动的。他说其实那只是后来有一次开会的时候，我就提出来，我说我们该买口罩了，然后他就反驳我，他说你怎么管的事情那么多呢？我说我们的生命危险，我们为什么不管？你说的这个模具，对这个肉体上。那个伤害是非常严重的，像我们都要穿个铁鞋的，但是穿上铁鞋也会砸到脚。我记得有一个同事就砸到脚了，模具从那个天车上掉下来砸到脚了，但是脚受伤了，就是报的病假，休的是病假，没有工伤，没有赔偿，因为病假嘛，他只是给你70%的工资，然后主管首先就让他写检讨，就首先问他不给我们报工伤。他说你一定不要报工伤，他直接说出来，你报工伤对我们主管会有影响，会影响绩效，影响整个部门的绩效之类的。他会拿整个部门来去威胁你，就觉着你不要因为你一个人影响我们所有的员工，他会这样子说，其实没有，只是影响他主管的而已，主管会跟着受牵连，然后还让他在大家面前写检讨，公正的站到那里啊。 各位同仁，大家好。今天发生了一起工伤事，不是一起工作上他不会说工伤，就说我自己犯了什么错误，然后因为我的工作疏忽对我们部门造成了什么影响，然后我在这里向大家表示抱歉。这很委屈啊！我觉得明明不是自己的错，却把所有的错揽到自己身上，没有补偿，没有安慰，还要向大家道歉，好讽刺。有一个女孩子，她拿着那个刀，这样子把这个手就这样子割掉了，割出来都漏到骨头了，当然没有割掉，还是工作，没有报工伤，也没有报病假，还是这样工作。发生工伤事故，一般责任都是不在主管，不在部门，不在工厂。全部在我们个人。我们做一个苹果产品，它的一个苹果产品就将近4000多、5000多的样子啊，仅仅是一个手机 4S， 但是我们工人得到的只是1/1000的那个工酬而已，其他的都不是我们的。我觉得我们付出的很多啊，但是我们得到的就还是这一群，他们都是农民工啊，都是打工的打工仔啊、打工妹啊，都得不到一些尊重啊。我们应有的一些价值观都被别人给否决掉。
Realizing the rule of law. China's legislation law is being revised for the first time in 15 years since it was enacted. An essential part of China's legal system, the legislation law dictates how national law, government regulations, and local laws are made and defines the legislative powers in the country.
人民群众对加强和改进立法
Chinese people have developed many expectations for strengthening and improving legislation. The Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, headed by General Secretary Xi Jinping, has also imposed new requirements on legislation. And there have emerged many new legislative situations and issues that needed to be studied and addressed.
Changes have been made to grant lawmaking powers to more cities, but at the same time, local regulations that restrain citizens' rights or increase their liabilities have been banned.
修正案草案将税收
The draft revisions have a subparagraph on taxation and make clear that any introduction and cancellation of the tax, as well as the basic system for tax collection and administration, shall only be governed by law.
Since the first plenary session of the 12th National People's Congress 2 years ago, it's the first time a draft law amendment will be reviewed at a plenary session, signaling the importance of the legislation law. NPC deputies and CPPCC members will deliberate over the draft in the next few days.
立法法的修正作为一个重要的议程。
The legislation law is the most important law after the Constitution. The revision is key to realizing rule of law in China. Local governments should be given legislative powers because they'll have a better local understanding than the central government of their specific social problems. It's more convenient for them to govern if they enact relevant regional laws.
The legislation law regulates the making of other laws. The revision is significant to ordinary people too, because their legal rights will be better protected. For example, when it comes to local taxation, the rules will be clearer in the future. Unlike before, some taxation rules are too complicated.
China has pledged to promote the rule of law by improving the country's legal system, pushing government bodies around the country to function in line with the law and improve its judicial system. The legislation law revision is considered a move to realize the plan. 艾阳 CCTV 北京。